Hey YouTube, it's the Lightsworn Knight back again. Today I'm going to be doing a video on how my Psychic OTK deck works because I had a lot of people ask me about it, so let's check it out. Okay, essentially for the OTK, you need 4 cards. Those cards are Brain Research Lab, Mind Master, Telekinetic Power Well, and any monster, but it's better if you use a Krebins, a Psychic Commander, or a Dr. Cranium, because you need these cards and their multiples just to pull off the OTK. We also have Spell and Trap removal with MST, Heavy Storm, True Nade, and 2 Trapstones. And then some extra cards, 3 Reckless Grease just to get you all the cards you need from your deck, and 2 Counter Cleaners to get rid of all the counters off of Brain Research Lab so that your opponent can't kill you. We also have 3 Craniums, which can count as getting out Mind Master, so 3 more cards for that pile. And it can also be any of the monsters you need to shuffle through. And Different Dimension Capsule, which can get you any of the 4 cards here, which is wonderful. It's supposed to be a gold Sark, but I don't feel like spending 30 bucks on one right now, so we'll upgrade that later. And now I'll go into detail. Okay guys, we're going to start off from the point where you have the 4 cards, but I will go over how to get the cards and play without it later on. So first we're going to start off with Brain Research Lab. Just get that to the field, and it doesn't matter if you have anything else on the field yet, although it will help if you do. If you guys don't know what Brain Research Lab does, it's pretty much the heart and soul behind the OTK. It allows you to normal summon an extra monster per turn by just placing a single counter on it. And it also allows you to use any psychic monster's ability without paying the life points cost by just placing counters on it as well. This is really broken and it really helps for the OTK, but it can also be your worst enemy if your opponent destroys it. For each counter on Brain Research Lab, you lose 1,000 life points when it gets destroyed. So you can essentially lose if you have 8 counters on it. That is why counter cleaners are in the deck. It helps you clean them off, helps you get rid of them. But if you do the OTK properly, you won't have to worry about Brain Research Lab getting destroyed because you'll do it in a single turn. Now you want to get out Mind Master, which you can do by having Emergency Teleport, 1 for 1, Different Dimension Capsule, or by using the 3 Dr. Craniums. So let's just say we have Mind Master on the field. And you want to have a Telekinetic Power Well in your hand, or maybe set on the field. Doesn't matter right now. Okay, Telekinetic Power Well pretty much just lets you special summon any number of level 2 or lower psychic monsters from your graveyard. So this is a wonderful way if you have enough to finish off your field. You can easily special summon as many as you need to fill it up. And then using Mind Master's effect, you can tribute any one of them and bring out more cards from your deck. So this is how you fill up your field with powerful monsters like Human Psychic Borg and all your other good guys and start boosting up and getting ready for the OTK. And then you're going to need 1 monster, which like I said before, it's better if you do have a Krebins, a Dr. Cranium, or a Commander, but you can have anything. And then by setting a counter on this, you can also play another monster in the same turn. So there's your monster. Now here it begins. By using Mind Master's ability, we could place another counter on Brain Research Lab, destroy this, goes to your graveyard, and go through your deck for another card. And pretty much what we're going to do now is just keep destroying monsters and building up counters until you have enough monsters in your graveyard to get back to the field and fill up your field. Once you do, you're going to play Telekinetic Power Well and get those monsters to the field. There will be a little bit of a life points cost, but whatever. Once you have all the monsters on the field, you're going to use Mind Master's ability again and just ditch them all and start shuffling through some of your better cards. So eventually you're going to need all 3 of your Human Psychic Borgs out to the field. And you're going to want a Snail at one point. Play the Snail, add a couple more counters, and make it sure that all 3 of these can attack twice using its ability. It can be used multiple times in a single turn. And you're going to want to cycle through Destructotrons. If your opponent has a back row, just destroy their traps. And ultimately, you also want to cycle through all 3 of your power injectors to boost your psychics face up on the field by 1,500 points for the turn. Okay, now in order to boost up our reinforced Human Psychic Borg, we can remove from play up to 2 psychic monsters each turn to give them plus 1,000, 500 for each. And if you're doing the OTK, that'll bring them up to 8,000 with all the other cards combined. But if you don't have the OTK, you can just do it again next turn and keep boosting them anyway. And especially once you've done Telekinetic Power Well, you'll have plenty of monsters in the graveyard, and especially once you start cycling through monsters with your Mind Master. and then each one of your Borgs will have 4,000 attack and be able to attack twice. And that's essentially the OTK. At this point, you do want to have these cards that'll clear out your opponent's back row or anything like that so they can't stop it. But if you don't, whatever. And during the duel, it's always good to have counter cleaners, especially if you don't get the OTK and you want to clear off the counters off of Brain Research, because it will kill you if your opponent destroys it. And you have like 8 counters on it. And it's always good to have some Reckless Greed set. Just get them ready, especially if you have multiple ones in the same turn. You only have to pay the cost once, which is nice. So you can get like 4 or 6 cards and only wait 2 turns. That's pretty much it, guys. Okay, now we're going to go over how to duel your opponent and win when you don't get the OTK. And this is essentially all about synchroing. So we have 5 tuners in the deck, and most of the monsters that we have are 4 stars. So that means we can synchro for a 5-star, a 6-star, and a 7-star. And if you pop in some craniums, you can do 8 and 9. So you can pretty much do whatever you want here. And that's essentially what you need to do if you don't get the OTK. And there are some good cards in this deck, some good staples and everything, like MST, Heavy Storm, all this good stuff to start popping your opponent's back row. And Human Psychic Borg is still a beater, even if you don't get the OTK. Remove from play 2 monsters once per turn to give it 1,000. So that's pretty darn good. And Brain Research Lab will still help you even if you don't get the OTK, because you can just pop some counters on it and get some free stuff. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.